The April 13th regularly scheduled meeting of the Goldsboro City Council. I hope that everyone had a wonderful spring break, a wonderful Easter holiday, time with family, and we have a robust agenda ahead of us this evening. But we will move straight through things. As always, we're going to take our time with things. We're going to make sure that we are able to discuss them, and if we see that things simply cannot be resolved, then we'll table them and we'll continue to move forward and do the business of the people of our city. But with that, let's begin, as is our tradition, with an invocation followed by Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll move into our agenda. Father Wiley, our police chaplain, will lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Gracious, loving, and almighty God, we give you thanks for the abundant blessings of this life. We thank you for gathering us together here this evening. We thank you for this great city and all of its residents and leaders. Father, we ask that you pour your Spirit upon us this evening as we gather to do the business of the city. Give all the speakers courage and wisdom in their thoughts and in their speaking. Give these leaders wisdom and grace to make decisions that are in the best interests of everyone in the city. And Father, we continue to ask your blessings over those that are attached to the armed forces, particularly those stationed to Seymour Johnson and those deployed abroad. Father, we ask that you watch over them and bring them home safely at the end of their deployments. All this we ask in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and as we do have a full gallery, I'll just ask that everyone, including myself, silence your watches and phones and tablets and all the other fun things, including this one. And as we do that, Madam Clerk, if you please conduct a roll call.
Mayor Gaylor.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Weeks.
Present.
Councilwoman Jones. Present. Councilman Boyette.
Present.
Councilwoman Taylor.
Present.
Councilwoman Matthews.
Present.
Councilman White.
Present. All right, all being present and accounted for, as I do every time. I appreciate everyone being able to be present and all the work that every member of this council does. I will move into adoption of the agenda. Council, there is an agenda presented that has been distributed both publicly as well as individual council members for review. Mr. Livingston, are there any recommended or requested changes from staff at this time?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Council, are there any requested changes to the agenda at this time? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. Any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. All right, motion passed 7-0. We have an agenda. Next, we're going to start off this evening with a little bit of celebrating. So I can tell everyone that one of the absolute highlights of being up here was getting a phone call that said, hey, we're getting ready to go escort a bus full of soon-to-be celebrities back into Goldsboro. Would you like to join? And I said, well, yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. So to all of those involved, thank you. And to ladies, their families, their coaches, this one is for you. Proclamation celebrating the Goldsboro High School Lady Cougars 2025-2026 state championship victory. Whereas the Goldsboro High School Lady Cougars achieved a historic 54-46 victory over East Surrey to win the 2026 NCHSAA 3A Girls Basketball State Championship, their first title in more than 40 years. And whereas the team demonstrated outstanding performance, leading 21-17 at halftime and finishing strong behind contributions from Amaya Ford, 14 points, Isaiah Boyer and Amari Buckholm with 11 points each, and additional scoring from Naira Smith, Kennedy Barber, and Alyssa Brown. And whereas under head coach Kadiah Bryant and the Lady Cougars excelled through disciplined defense, teamwork, and a dominant postseason run to secure the championship. And whereas the team also upheld a strong commitment to academic achievement, exemplifying excellence as student athletes, both on the court and in the classroom. And whereas through hard work, perseverance, and teamwork, these student athletes have represented their school and community with pride and excellence, both on and off the court. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Goldsboro City Council does hereby recognize and honor the Goldsboro High School Lady Cougars as the 2025-2026 NCHSAA 3A Girls Basketball State Champions and commend their excellence in athletics and academics and encourage all citizens to join in celebrating the success of these outstanding young women and their contributions to the legacy of Goldsboro athletics. And witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and affixed the seal of the city of Goldsboro this the 13th day of April 2026. Would any representatives or all the representatives from the Lady Cougars please come forward? Battery may be dead on this one, so we'll grab this one right here. Would anyone like to speak on behalf of the team? Congratulations.
It's an honor to bring this championship back home to the city of Goldsboro. We were here a couple of years ago when we went 23-2, and then a tremendous season the year after that. But then to finish it all off with a state champion at the end of this 2026 season, it's just amazing. So I'm just glad we were able to honor Goldsboro High School and the city of Goldsboro and bring some pride back to the community.
However you want to do it. If you want to slide right in the middle, if you want the girls to hold this right here in the middle. There you go. Y'all, and then slide this way towards me one big step. There we go. And Latoya, now you take over and tell us where to go.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, can we be a part of this picture?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, if any member of the council or every member of council would like to come around and take some positions on the wings, I think that'd be fantastic.
Congratulations, ladies. Thanks.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, I know I'm overstepping. Before y'all leave, could we get their parents up here as well? Because without them, they wouldn't be here as well. So
whatever coaching players want to do, we're here right now celebrating y'all. Y'all want to get parents up here and get one of the coaches.
that's the best pick.
All right, everyone, we'll pause just for a second and allow them to make an exit. All right, we will continue our meeting with item 4.2 on our agenda. The Goldsboro Housing Authority Board has appointed a new CEO, and we would like to hear from the board chair as well as our new CEO.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. It's my pleasure to be here with you this evening. Want to make an introduction to
Pause just 1 second.
Sure.
Would you mind just pulling that door too for me? They have a large crowd that is here.
They need to keep having fun and celebrating.
Yeah, that's all right. We're not going to cause a scene about it. We're just going to pull this door to right here, and then we're going to keep on going. Thank you, Mr. Talton. There you go, please.
Sure. On behalf of the Board of Commissioners for the Housing Authority for the City of Goldsboro, I wanted to introduce you to the CEO. She's about 3 weeks in, but did want to come and just make an introduction, and I'm sure you'll hear a little bit more about when you guys can interact a little more intimately in the near future. But please join me in welcoming Michelle Wiggins.
Okay, well, not as exciting as the basketball team winning, but I appreciate you allowing us the time to come before you today, to the community at large, too. Thank you for being here and being supportive, and let you know that the Board of Commissioners will be discussing at our Thursday board meeting about schedule for a meet and greet. So hopefully we can share that information with you guys, and would love to see you there and talk more about what we might be able to do to work together. Appreciate those of you that I've already spoken with and had the opportunity to begin collaborating with. And there will be a lot more of that in the future. I'm very hopeful and very excited about things to come for the Housing Authority, and I'm glad to be back. I spent about 8 years at the Housing Authority before and was very involved in a lot of their redevelopment efforts in the past, and I'm looking forward to doing more of that in the future. So thank you for your time, and hope you have a good evening.
I appreciate you being willing to come forward and be introduced this evening. As you already said, we will be arranging times that council members can go and actually speak with Ms. Wiggins and the board, and with other staff members within the authority. I know there's some really solid plans, some things that can really do good things for the residents and for the community at large. So I appreciate you being willing to be here this evening. And good luck. Next, we will move to item 4.3, a National Volunteer Appreciation Week proclamation. And if I'm correct, it's the next one on my stack. National Volunteer Appreciation Week proclamation. Whereas a sense of caring and a desire to have Whereas a sense of caring and a desire to share have motivated many men and women to volunteer their time and services to the needs of others in the Goldsboro community. And whereas volunteers help the sick, the needy, the disabled, and enrich our lives through the arts, recreation, and cultural activities. And whereas the City of Goldsboro has many dedicated volunteers who give their time and expertise on boards and committees that benefit our citizens. And whereas volunteer action is a powerful force for the solution of problems, and volunteers are increasingly recognized as an important partner with governmental agencies. And whereas volunteers have become an essential part of any prosperous community, and volunteer services help expand programs and stretch our tax dollars. And whereas Governor Josh Stein and the NC Commission on Volunteerism and Community Service recognizes volunteers across the state for their contributions to each 100 counties, and the United Way of Wayne County will recognize those volunteers and all Wayne County volunteers on April 27th at 5:30 p.m. at the Paramount Theater. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Goldsboro City Council does hereby proclaim the week of April 19th through the 25th, 2026 as National Volunteer Appreciation Week, and urge all citizens to recognize and thank our volunteers across the country and within Goldsboro as we acknowledge the importance of our volunteers and take the time to officially thank them for all they do. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and affixed the seal of the City of Goldsboro this the 13th day of April 2026. And I believe we have the Executive Director, President of our United Way chapter, Ms. Sherry Archibald, present. Would you prefer to address the audience or to address the council?
Do a little both.
Whichever you prefer.
Thank you. And thank you for reading that. My allergies, thank you. I didn't know if I was going to be able to say that whole thing. On behalf of the United Way of Wayne County, it's our pleasure to be able to serve as the host for the Governor Service Award. And so we're looking forward to recognizing many volunteers, but specifically we have 5 that were selected from a committee of this community that went forward to be part of the Service Awards as well. So they'll be recognized with a little bit more recognition on the stage. We look forward to you joining us as well as base personnel and the county commissioners. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Quick point of order. I believe you need to be excused, correct?
Yes.
Council, this time I would entertain a motion to excuse Councilwoman Matthews. She has a professional commitment and would like to be able to preserve her vote in her absence.
I'll make a motion.
All right.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded to excuse Councilwoman Matthews until she's able to return. Is there any debate? Hearing none, all in favor. Ms. Getz, would you like us to do electronic or?
I just pulled it up. Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
Please vote electronically if possible.
Well, all right then.
All right. We will see you in a few moments. All right, next, and since you happened to mention it, I feel like the month of April in Eastern North Carolina ought to also be Barry White Reenactment Month due to all the pollen. I promise you I'm not up here spreading the wealth amongst my council mates. It is purely pollination. All right, next we will move to item 4.4. Mr. Livingston, if you please.
I think I'll defer to our department head, Miss April Choice, to introduce our new building development
Mayor
manager.
and Council. I'm happy to announce that we have fulfilled our Chief Building Inspector position, Building Code Manager position. And Mr. John T. Brown is here, and I will allow him to provide an introduction of himself. Thank you.
Mayor, City Council, City Manager, City Attorney. Yes. My name is John Brown. I'm the Building Inspections Manager for City of Goldsboro. I'm excited to be here, excited to be a part of this city. It's been a great 3 weeks that I've been working here, and it's been very, very enjoyable. I came from New Hanover County as a chief building inspector there, and have about 40 years of construction and inspections experience. Look forward to working with each and every one of you, sitting down, spending time with you so that I understand how we make a vibrant and prosperous Goldsboro. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Mr. Ryan, I'm going to commend you right off the bat. Something that I believe that you want to do that I absolutely echo is making time to sit down with the development community around us that tends to be your frequent flyers in our area, and offering some instruction. Again, as I've said with April many times, I do not want to lower the bar, but I do want to help people understand how to get over the bar. And when you have high standards, which I believe we do and I believe we should, I also think that comes with that some degree of necessary explanation of how to be able to do things, and already hearing from April some things that you want to do to be able to engage with that community, help them understand the process, help them navigate it to the extent that you can while remaining an inspector, obviously. I think it's just fantastic work. It's a cultural shift that I think is just going to be wonderful.
Yeah, well, I look forward to it. I know the Home Builders Association is excited. Spent quite a bit of time with those folks and gotten to know them very well, and look forward to, like I said, working with them. Ease of business has been my main motto, but I also understand that we have to protect the citizens of Goldsboro.
Absolutely.
And have great buildings, and that's what we're going to achieve. So have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next, Mr. Livingston, I believe item 4.5 and 4.6 are just for reading, right?
They're not here.
All right, we'll move to item 4.5, which is a retirement resolution for Mr. Don McMullen. A resolution expressing appreciation for services rendered by Don McMullen as an employee of the City of Goldsboro for more than 23 years. Whereas Don McMullen retires on May 1st, 2026 as the Distribution and Collection System Superintendent with more than 23 years of service with the City of Goldsboro. And whereas Don began his career on January 2nd, 2003 as a laborer on with the Public Works Department in the Streets and Storms Division. And whereas on March 6, 2013, Don was promoted to Distribution and Collection System Superintendent. And whereas on July 1st, 2025, Don's position as Distribution and Collection System Superintendent was reassigned to the Public Utilities Department, and he has continued to perform his duties in this role with dedication through to his retirement. And whereas Don has proven himself to be a dedicated and efficient public servant who has gained the admiration and respect of his fellow workers and the citizens of the City of Goldsboro. And whereas the mayor and city council of the City of Goldsboro are desirous on behalf of themselves, city employees, and the citizens of the City of Goldsboro of expressing to Don McMullen their deep appreciation and gratitude for the service rendered by him to the city over the years. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and city council of the City of Goldsboro, North Carolina, that we express to Don McMullen our very best wishes for success, happiness, prosperity, and good health in his future endeavors. This resolution shall be incorporated into the official minutes of the City of Goldsboro and shall be in full force and effect from and after this, the 13th day of April, 2026. And next, as soon as I can get it up, we will continue with item 4.6, which is a retirement resolution for Mr. John Heath.
Need a motion,
Vote.
vote.
As that is a resolution to be incorporated fully into the minutes, I would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution for Mr. Don McMullen as read.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. Take your pick. All right. Is there any debate on that motion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Vote electronically if possible. All right. Perfect. All votes being in the affirmative, the motion passes. We will now move to a resolution, if I typed it up correctly, expressing appreciation for services rendered by Mr. John Heath as an employee of the City of Goldsboro for more than 13 years. Whereas John Heath retired on March 1st, 2026 as a meter reader with more than 13 years of service with the City of Goldsboro. And whereas John began his career on August 22nd, 2012 as a utility field service technician with the maintenance department. And whereas on January 1st, 2016, John's job title was changed to meter reader, and he continued to serve with dedication in his role until his retirement. And whereas John has proven himself to be a dedicated and efficient public servant who has gained the admiration and respect of his fellow workers and the citizens of the City of Goldsboro. And whereas the mayor and city council of the City of Goldsboro are desirous on behalf of themselves, city employees, and the citizens of the City of Goldsboro of expressing to John Heath their deep appreciation and gratitude for the service rendered by him to the city over the years. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and city council of the City of Goldsboro, North Carolina, that we express to John Heath our very best wishes for success, happiness, prosperity, and good health in his future endeavors. This resolution shall be incorporated into the official minutes of the City of Goldsboro and shall be in full force and effect from and after this, the 13th day of April, 2026. Council would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution expressing appreciation for Mr. John Heath as read.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
All right, motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded to adopt the resolution as read. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. All right, all votes being in the affirmative, motion passes. We'll move to our last proclamation, which is another special treat. There is a statewide proclamation for Line Worker Appreciation Day for the folks that get in the trucks and climb the poles and keep our power on every day. And we are following suit. I was able to sit down with members of the Duke Power team that do the work, whether it's snowing or raining or windy or whatever else, and got to hear some of their stories and learn about them and their families, and very much appreciated the time. And so this proclamation is for them. Whereas on April 10, 2013, a resolution was passed in the United States Senate to recognize April 18th annually as National Lineman or Line Worker Appreciation Day. And whereas the profession of the electrical line worker is steeped in personal, family, and professional tradition. And whereas line workers are often first responders during storms and other catastrophic events, working to make the scene safe for other public safety officials and to expedite the return of vital electrical power to our communities. And whereas these brave men and women work with thousands of volts of electricity high atop power lines 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, risking and sometimes losing their lives to keep electricity flowing. And whereas line workers are often faced with dangerous conditions far from their families as they work to construct and maintain energy infrastructure throughout the state of North Carolina and the United States. And whereas line workers must use their technical knowledge, physical strength, and ingenuity to achieve success in challenges they face every day. And whereas the city of Goldsboro thank these men and heroic line workers who brave hurricanes, ice storms, snowstorms, floods, and other natural disasters to maintain our community's energy grid. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Goldsboro City Council does hereby proclaim April 18, 2026 as Line Worker Appreciation Day in the city of Goldsboro. A witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and affix the seal of the city of Goldsboro this the 13th day of April 2026. All right, and we will deliver that to them in the coming days. Next, we will move into our public hearings. Mr. Livingston, I will yield to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first public hearing we have is for SU 326. It's a multifamily development off of New Hope Village off of New Hope Road. So I'll have the planning department give that brief.
Mr. Talton. All right. And this being a special use permit, please approach the clerk. And council, if you would take a moment to refresh yourself if needed on the motions for special use permits. I believe that little flyer is back in front of you, but we will be going through that 4-part motion test if we choose to move to that part of the item.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, men and women. Good to see everybody tonight. As the mayor said, we will be reviewing one special use permit, and that the location of this special use permit is at the south side of East New Hope Road between Bear Creek Road and Newsom Road, and it is for a multi-family apartment and townhome complex. Moving forward, the applicant is Mr. Howard Sowell. Mr. Sowell is here with us tonight. He's also a civil engineer. Blanchard and Associates is with us as well. Thank you for coming. The current zoning for the property is R6. The existing land use is currently vacant. The land use designation is medium density. And as we spoke before, the applicant is requesting a special use permit to build a 144-unit multifamily and townhome development complex located in a residential 6 zoning district. On June 20th, 2022, the property was rezoned from residential 12 to residential 6 by Goldsboro City Council. The residential zoning district was established to accommodate both single and multifamily residential uses and to prohibit all activities of a commercial nature except for certain home occupations. Multifamily dwellings shall have 6,000 square feet of land area for the first unit, with an additional 2,000 square feet of land area required for each additional dwelling unit. According to the city's UDO, Multifamily and townhome developments are permitted in the R6 zoning district only after attainment of a special use permit approved by City Council. The approval criteria for multifamily and townhome developments is in accordance with our UDO. I won't go into explaining all of them, but I will just briefly highlight the sections that they are required to cover. Open space equal to at least 20% of the entire development shall be preserved, maintained, and improved by the development owner for active recreational use by residents of the development. Open space ownership. The required open space shall be held in common ownership for the perpetual benefit of residents of the development by a legally established corporation or other legal entity, or be dedicated to the City of Goldsboro as a public park. Building separation. There shall be separation of at least 20 feet between buildings. Landscaping shall be in accordance with our commercial landscape ordinance. Pedestrian facilities shall be provided. That includes interior pedestrian sidewalks as well as exterior sidewalks along the main corridor there along East New Hope Road. Access shall be provided to the property. Utilities shall be installed underground. There shall be a commercial lighting plan for the development. Signage, storage for each unit, a refuse collection area, and they shall provide a 20-foot side and rear setback for all buildings. So if you look here, this is our zoning map. As you can tell, majority of the property is R12 to the east and west of the property. You'll see some R16, R9 to the south, again to the north, R16, a little office and residential and general business, isolated general business, and R16. Moving to our comprehensive land use map, and before I go on, I'll just draw note to, you'll see to the west of the property are some multifamily developments existing, and also to the east you'll see multifamily and residential developments. Here is our comprehensive land use map, which does show medium density residential. In these areas, our UDO, specifically our comprehensive land use plan, encourages higher density uses when there is water and sewer, or where there are plans to extend water and sewer in the area. We do have utilities just to the west of the property. If this permit is approved and the site plan is approved, the developer will be required to extend services to the property. Here is a site plan, one of the sheets, the overall site for the development. I'll go into showing you that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 three-story multifamily apartments. And as you'll see on the northern side of the property, or the west side really, will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets of townhomes, 4 in each unit. Again, at this point in time, we're showing, and what we've been told is 144 units, unless that's changed, and so that still stands. The discussion, the buildings and lot, again, there will be 4 three-story multifamily apartment buildings and 28 townhomes for a total of 144 units. Residents will be able to access the site from East New Hope Road. There may be additional access points to the site if the fire code requires it. Engineering, the property is not located in a special flood hazard area. City water, sewer, utilities are available within 1,000 feet of the property along East New Hope Road. Annexation, the subject property is located outside of our corporate limits. If this property is developed for future use, the developer will be required to petition for annexation to the board. TRC review, if the permit is approved by council, the site will be reviewed by our technical review committee, at which time they'll have to require compliance with all of our UDO regulations.
At that time, that would also, if it triggers a DOT traffic impact, that would happen at that time, right?
Yes, sir. At this point in time, we have spoken with NCDOT, and I believe the applicants have as well. At this time, DOT is not requiring any road improvements. They are requiring some markings of stripes and improvements within the roadway, but at this point in time, based on the information they have, there will not be any required improvements to the site. So staff's evaluation is that the proposal would not pose any immediate threat to public health or safety. There was no evidence presented with the application that indicates the use will injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting property. The proposed use will be located in an R6 zoning district. The proposed use for multifamily townhome development would be in harmony with the zoning district and the surrounding area. The land use plan shows the property as being in medium density residential land uses. The proposed use will not serve as a detriment to the designation, as this land use supports goals identified by the city's comprehensive land use plan and land use map. Planning staff have no objections to this proposal. Again, I will let you know again, this is a quasi-judicial hearing. Your decision will be based off of evidence presented, sworn testimony, staff's report, what you've seen in the PowerPoint presentation tonight, and of course, once the mayor opens up for public hearing, any testimony that is offered. At this point in time, I don't have anything else to add, Mayor, unless council has any questions of me.
All right, council, do we have any questions for staff, Mr. Witt?
I was reading ahead of you and then did not hear what you said regarding annexation status. Is it ETJ now or is it already?
That is correct. And the ETJ will need to be annexed into the city of Goldsboro's jurisdiction.
And I would assume because my district neighbors this, that it would be added. Do you guys make that decision?
Yes, sir.
So it would be added to,
yes, sir,
to my district?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I missed that part earlier.
No problem. No problem.
And that would be a separate annexation petition that would then be heard of council, and then we'd set district and all that the political boundaries and all those things at that time
yes,
as well.
Yes, sir.
For those following along. Did I see another hand up over here? No? All right, then with that, it is our practice that we then invite the applicant up to fill in any additional information from staff's briefing and then be able to hear any questions from council. That allows the public who are present to be as informed as they can possibly be once we open the public hearing. So with that, Mr. Chalton is the applicant. All right, perfect. Then we'll invite the applicant up to come forward and speak. And if there are any gaps in the presentation that they'd like to fill in, they're welcome to do so. Please approach the Right, good evening.
Brought Steve with me. He's our engineer in case there's any technical questions.
Council, are there any pieces of the brief that you would like to elaborate on, or is there any other details that you'd like to add to the brief?
No, I think it was pretty straightforward. So.
Okay. Council,
questions?
Council, are there any questions for the applicant at this time? All right, hearing none. Then y'all have a seat. Yes, sir. Sorry, Mr. Lawrence.
We just need them to state their name for the record.
If you would, please.
Came up.
If both of you would please just state your name for the record.
Oh, Howard Sowell.
Stephen Blanchard.
There you go. All right, y'all have a seat, and then we will open the public hearing. All right, everybody. We will now move to the public hearing. This is the public hearing is officially open. Public hearing for item 5.1 on our agenda, SU 326, a multifamily development along New Hope Road. Is there anyone wishing to come forward and speak? If so, please approach the clerk. Second call, is there anyone wishing to come forward and speak on SU 324, item 5.1 on our agenda? Third and final call, is there anyone wishing to come forward and speak on SU 326, item 5.1 on our agenda? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and we will return to deliberations. Council, would you like me to invite either the applicant or staff back up? All right, seeing not hearing any requests. There are 4 motions, as everyone is aware, that we have to work through for a special use permit. At this time, I would entertain a motion related to item number 1, if it pleases council.
Mayor,
I move that the motion that the use will not materially endanger the public health or safety.
All right, a motion has been made that the use would not materially endanger public health or safety. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, motion has been made and properly seconded that the use would not materially endanger. Is there any debate on that? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. You good? See if you type, click e-vote up at the top and see if it'll let you in.
Hold on, just
Or just raise your hand and state your vote.
yeah. Yes, I'm
In favor? All right, motion passes. We'll move to item number 2. Motion the use would or would not substantially injure. Would entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'd make a motion to that effect.
All right. To which one? That it would not.
Use will not
All right.
substantially injure.
Second it.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded by the pro tem that the use would not substantially injure the beneficial use of adjoining or abutting properties. Or any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. All right. All votes having been tallied, motion passes. We'll move towards item number 3. Mayor Pro Tem, I saw your hand.
I'll make a motion that the use will be in harmony with existing development and uses within the area in which it is located.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded that the use would be in harmony with existing development and uses within the area. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. All right, all votes having been tallied, motion passes. And then we'll move to item 4, would entertain a motion that the use would or would not be in general conformity with the Goldsboro Comprehensive Land Use Plan.
I move that the use will be in general conformity with the City of Goldsboro Comprehensive Land Plan.
All right.
Second.
And seconded by Councilwoman Taylor, that the use would be in general conformity. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. All votes having been tallied, motion passes. SU 326 is granted. Mr. Livingston, anything further on item 5.1?
No, sir, Mr.
No?
Mayor.
Perfect.
Hey, just before
Yes, please.
and it has nothing to do with the voting thing.
Sure.
Just out of curiosity, there's already a New Hope Village on that road. I was just wondering, is that something that does that make a difference?
Mr. Livingston, you're better equipped to answer that one.
So
The naming of it,
it's a
don't
New
get the
Hope
branding
Village
right.
Drive, but it's not the New Hope. I mean, it
Well, the
could be
drive
something.
is the street that leads into New Hope
Right.
Village. They
I
call
see.
that New Hope Village Drive, but the actual subdivision is New Hope Village. So
Oh.
I was just wondering.
No, that's a completely good question. We need to get branding right. Well, how about this? Let's advise planning to please do make sure that when you're working with the applicant, let's make sure that we're not double booking any branding, that we make sure that things are clear. Everything from the post office to police response, it certainly is relevant. So let's make sure that we get that right once things are actually put in motion. Councilman, that's a good catch. Anybody else?
To that point, everyone refers to that development as New Hope Village and has for some time.
And we definitely don't want any. And we
Implication
definitely
of emergency services.
Right, emergency services post. We don't want any goof ups there. So let's please do make sure that we're getting that one right. Planning, you got your advisory notice on that one. There we go. All right, let's move to item 5.2. Mr. Livingston, if you would please.
This 5.2 is a public hearing for substantial amendments to the annual action plans, and that we've had several of them this year to try to keep ourselves updated with some of the changes that are we've made. And I'll have
believe Ms.
April
Johnson Choice will be
also
delivering the
do the
brief.
brief. Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Good evening again. So we are requesting City Council to approve a substantial amendment to the annual action plan plans. We are asking for 2018 to 2019, 2019 to 2020, 20 to 21, and 20 to 22. The purpose of this is to add a new activity. So anytime we are making a change or being more specific about how we use CBDG or home funds, we have to go back to the annual action plans that those funds were allocated in and update the plan to be specific. So the particular activity that we're adding to the plan is the Abbott Crossing Affordable Housing Development Project. So that is using about $900,000 in home funds, and we to just do it right.
I appreciate the work that you and the department are doing, because we are trying to be very methodical, because we've already actually approved the expenditure of these funds within another box of federal sort of bureaucracy, if you will, and now going back and making sure that every layer is touched appropriately, so that there's no audit findings, there's no issues down the road. I certainly appreciate the work. This is not new to council. This is a piece of business that is certainly underway. But is there any no additional expenditures, correct?
No additional expenditures.
Okay. So, council, any comments or questions for Ms. Choice? All right. So then, with that, we'll allow you to take a quick seat, and we'll open the public hearing. Everyone, this is a public hearing for item 5.2 on our agenda. Public hearing for substantial amendments to the 2018-19, 2019-20, 2020-21, and 2021-22 annual action plans. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak, please approach the clerk. And I misspoke. You can actually just come straight to the podium.
Good evening, Councilman, Mayor, and Mayor Pro Tem. I was just, I'm Phyllis Merritt James, 503 Cardinal Drive, Goldsboro, North Carolina. Just had a question in reference to the allocation. I know years ago, I've been at several meetings where you talked about the allocation of these funds, and with this determination to do this village or this project, trying to see how it fits into the overall monies that we were going to divert to, like the West Oak plans and subdivisions. I know a lot of the monies were direct. We had like $1.6 million, and things were set to address our homeless population, low, moderate income housing. I also make sure, because this area is going to be over there toward New Hope, and I just want to make sure that we're not forgetting our commitments that we made for the West Oak. We had a bunch of open sessions, a lot of excitement around building in those areas, and we're going outside of that realm. So I just want to make sure that the monies that we're allocating are still with the main focus that we're looking at to begin with.
Thank you. Well, after the public hearing, we'll invite you back up if you want to address any specific points, okay? Anyone else wishing to come forward and speak on item 5.2? Last and final call, or third and final call for a public hearing of substantial amendments for assorted annual action plans, item 5.2 on our agenda. Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Ms. Choice, if you please come back to the podium just to entertain any remaining questions for council. As far as this particular piece of property, Abbott, where would you tell us where the one that this funded is?
This is on Graves Drive off of Berkeley. I think you go down to where the McDonald's.
Yep, Malloy.
Oh, yes. So this project is going well. It looks like it's almost complete. But it does fit the funding criteria for home. It is funding a new construction multifamily rental housing project, which fits and is eligible for home funds.
And this one is income qualified, at least a portion of it is income qualified, right?
Low to moderate income.
All right. Council, any remaining questions on item 5.2? All right, hearing none. At this point, Mr. Livingston and Ms. Choice, we're to vote to approve the changes? All right, perfect. So, council, there is a resolution in the packet that, if it is the will of council, would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Pro Tem and seconded by Councilman Boyette. Any debate? Hearing none, please vote electronically if possible. All right, all votes having been tallied, the motion passes. All right, with that, we'll move to item 5.3, which is the second amendment to the Economic Development Agreement between the City of Goldsboro and Wayne County, actually expanding what we're doing a little bit. Mr. Livingston, if you'd please deliver the brief or call someone forward.
Oh, no, I got this one, Mayor. Thank you. This is essentially just, as you said, an addition to our existing agreement, which adds another lot into Park East due to they created another lot and they've got the opportunity to develop that lot. which essentially in those areas we share property tax 50-50. We do this also in what was formerly the Goldsboro Business Campus, now is the Wayne Business Campus.
This is still a bit of a novel thing between cities and counties. It seems to be working quite well, though.
Working. Yes, sir.
Good. Well, council, any comments or questions for Mr. Livingston before we begin the public hearing? Hearing none, we will open the public hearing. This is now a public hearing for item 5.3 on our agenda. It is a second amendment to an economic development agreement between the city of Goldsboro and Wayne County. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak, please do so. Second call on item 5.3 on our agenda. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak, please do so. Third and final call on the second amendment to an economic development agreement between the city of Goldsboro and Wayne County. Item 5.3 on our agenda. Third and final call to come forward and speak. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and we will move forward. Council, are there any remaining questions for Mr. Livingston? Hearing none, we entertain a motion to adopt the resolution as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded by Councilwoman Jones. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. All right, all votes having been tallied, the motion passes and the resolution is approved. All right, council. Next, we will move to our public comment period. Anyone who is not signed to speak in the public comment period who wishes to do so, please do. And then we will hear those wishing to speak.
Mayor, our first speaker is Willie Baptiste.
Good evening, Mr. Baptiste.
Good evening, everybody. Councilwomen, councilmen, it's good to be here. And all my neighbors, how you doing? I'm here as a complainant because I don't know if any of y'all ever been called a liar or really referred to as lying. I haven't. I don't like it. I mean, somebody may have, but I don't. I had an incident that happened on February 11th. I had to go to the DMV. Anybody is registered with DMV? It takes a long time to get that appointment. Well, that morning I got that appointment, and so I got up the regular time to get out and go to the Greenville. Okay? On my way, I'm driving down Elm Street between Jefferson and Best Street, and there was some work being done. On the corner of Elm and Prince, there was a hole. Okay, a hole. I ran, but the sign for the work was after the fact. There was none before it. It damaged my car. But I didn't have time to stop because that appointment was very important to me. I couldn't miss it. When I got back, they had filled some of it. So I filed a grievance with one of your department heads, and he sent it to the insurance, and they came back and said that they have no proof that there was a hole in the ground. I talked to another department head, and he told me that it didn't happen the way I said it, as if I lied to him. I don't like being called a liar. I know there was a hole in the ground, and I know it damaged my car. See, its point of it is, the money is not the important part of it now. It's the fact that somebody doesn't accept what I said as truth. I have no reason to lie to anybody. Nowhere in my history do I lie to anybody. So, Mayor, I'm telling you, your department head handled it wrong. I don't like to be called a liar. I don't like to be referred to as a liar. This happened. There was a hole. It damaged my car. And they don't have proof of it. And I couldn't go to any neighbors around there and ask them, do you remember the hole in the ground, because it's covered up. Now, if you go over there now, it is partially still dented in. It wasn't fixed properly. It shows that there was some problem with that spot. All I'm asking is somebody step in and come up with a resolution on this, because I don't believe it was handled properly. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir.
That was our last speaker.
Mr. Livingston, do you have dates and times on this one?
We'll get back with him.
Okay.
He's got
Got
his
his
contact
information.
information.
Okay.
We'll find out more, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, that closes our public comment period, Ms. Coates, correct? All right, next we'll move to the consent agenda. It is lengthy, but I believe that everything up there is things that are appropriate for a consent agenda. Council, as always, if there are any remaining questions for any of these items, now is the time to do that. Mr. Livingston, if you'd please hear and entertain any remaining questions on the consent agenda, and then we'll call for a vote.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have several items because we've got a lot of things going on in the city, which is always a good thing. I'll be happy to answer any questions or any specific ones if there's any, or we can entertain them as a group and vote on them as one vote, all items.
One that I'll call the public's attention to, item 7.6, the Neuse River Hazard Mitigation Plan. That is one that it is substantial in a good way. Again, it's appropriate for there you go. You put it up on the screen for me. It is appropriate for consent agenda, but it is something that is noteworthy and certainly is evidence of us continuing to plan for things so that we know what we're asking for when it comes to funding and resolution assistance. So I appreciate everybody's work on that. Council, any other questions on consent agenda? Hearing none, but entertain a vote to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made and properly seconded by Councilman Boyette to approve consent agenda as presented. Any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. All right, all votes having been cast. Consent agenda items, all of them, 7.1 through 7.9, are approved. All right. Next, we will move to item 8.1, Mr. Livingston. I believe this one's for information only, correct?
Yes, sir. It's more of an update. I just really wanted us to be very transparent with the city council, and we have the engineering services manager here. Just to there's been a little bit of a change since we last discussed this. We still have every intention of doing this project and keeping it on schedule, but I'll have Jonathan explain what has transgressed since the last meeting.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So there is a resolution attached with this. We are asking for council to retract the agreement that we entered into on March the 20th. We got some information that the developer has filed for bankruptcy. The property, the development is still being held by the engineering firm and the property owners. This is just the developer that was going to come in and build the units. They were going to build 180 single family homes. So they've just kind of filed for bankruptcy. We don't know the extent to what they're reorganizing or what they're doing. We were just told they filed for bankruptcy. We talked to the engineer. They are very confident that another developer will come in soon. They've actually had a couple, I think, reach out to them and talk to them about it. So the resolution is to retract the agreement that we had in place with BRD Land Investment, and then when a new developer comes in, we'll reach back out to the engineer and engage in a new cost sharing agreement.
I appreciate this one being caught, and by doing this, right now, it was never fully executed.
Right.
The other side never
Right.
signed it, and so we notified them as soon as we learned this. Hey, by the way, we retract our partially executed version. Please send us the partially executed ones back. Jonathan has them in his possession, but this also allows us to get on record that we have formally retracted that.
Right.
And one other item I would note is that this doesn't materially change anything. We're still going to be out there and staying on schedule with this project because it's important for us to do this project.
So when is it scheduled for?
I'd have to talk to Public Utilities. They are having a couple of people leave. Don McMullen being one of them, who's retiring at the end of the month. So they're going through some staff changes. So maybe push back a little bit, but I got to talk to them and kind of drive down some dates.
This calendar year, though.
Yes. Yeah. We should be able to do this calendar year.
Council, any comments or questions on this one? All right, hearing none, then I believe there is a resolution. There is a resolution attached within this one, but entertain a motion to adopt the resolution retracting the cost sharing agreement as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion been made and properly seconded to adopt the resolution as presented. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. All right, all votes having been tallied, motion passes unanimously. And thank you.
Appreciate it.
Just do update us as work actually begins, and you have some dates. That way we can help spread the word about traffic and things like that.
We will. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now let's, if I can close that tab. We'll go right back over to the agenda. All right, let's begin our new business. Let's begin with item 9.1. Mr. Livingston, if you'd please deliver any brief and then call any speakers forward.
I think we have Ms. Kiriana Taylor here this evening. I'm just looking forward to hearing what the event that it has going on. Looking forward to that. I like these pictures in the agenda packet.
KT, good to see you as always.
You as well. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council. I'm here yet again, presenting for the Juneteenth Unity and Heritage Festival, formerly known as Jams Out Juneteenth. And I am super excited for the 2026 year. Again, requesting for sponsorship. That's a picture of me. I didn't put that in there, I promise. But this year we're looking to have it the day after Juneteenth, just because it always falls on a Saturday. Best time to have the festival. So this will be the 6th year, and this year the change would just really be the time. We're looking to have the actual event from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We did take a survey and asked patrons last year and festival attendees what was the one thing they would change, and it was the time. A lot of our vulnerable population was saying it was too hot for them that day, having it a little earlier in the day where the sun is peaking. So we are requesting for street closure to be, we're requesting for street closure to be from 1 p.m. just for booths and vendors to be able to set up to 8 p.m. and that would be from Center Street from Chestnut to Spruce. And also, I'm here on behalf of Curtis Media Group, who is going to also be the venue sponsor this year. And this will be, it's no different from what we have done in the past, partnering with the city. But the difference is this year, Curtis Media Group has included 98.3 WGBR classic hits. A lot of our Goldsboro citizens listen to that show with Jeff Farrow, and also adding more with Goldsboro Daily News along with 92.7 Jams. And so the city would be able to use themselves as a sponsor on this event. And I'm trying to get the right word that I'm trying to say, but pretty much promote the city as a sponsor on this. And so that total investment will be $2,500, and that's what we will be requesting for sponsorship this year. Also, I would like to request the use of the hub. Of course, it is a City of Goldsboro venue, electrical outlets with working power for our food trucks, some police coverage during the event, fire department on site, as well as trash service, delivery and removal, in that street closure, as well as the land use right beside well-traveled beer that we know as Freedom Fest, so we can, Freedom Field, so we can have the bouncy houses there. And this is just a little bit more about the sponsorship. Curtis Media Group serving as the media and venue sponsor, and what we're requesting from the city. And these are just some pictures from over the years that we've had the event. That'd be it.
And Mr. Livingston, financially, this was included in the budget, correct?
Yes, sir. It was a budgeted
perfect
item.
All right, so just reminding council, this does not have to come out of general fund. This was an anticipated and budgeted event sponsorship. So what is the appropriate way to do this? Because there's the fee waiver component of it, and then there's the affirmative sponsorship. Can we do it all in one by voting to adopt the package as presented? Or do I need to break it apart?
I think we traditionally have broken it apart, as I recall.
Yes, ma'am.
If we could do the sponsorship with the fee waiver and stuff, then the next item is going to be the street closure request itself.
Okay.
So if we could do all of this in one, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Like
Good with
waiver of the use of the hub the street application, street closure application fee and the sponsorship.
Okay. So would you like us to go ahead and review the street sponsorship now then?
It's the next
I
item.
know, that's what I'm saying. Do you want us to go ahead and
If you
move to
want
that one and
to.
then take one vote at the end? You're good with that? You're good with that? You're good?
Whatever
Y'all
you
good with that? How about we go ahead and move to the street the
Okay.
street closure?
Okay.
It sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't take
the-
credit for it.
Yeah, the street closure would be to ensure the safety of the festival attendees. So it would be from Center Street to Spruce and Chestnut, and from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. just to ensure that vendor setup happens and shut down so we can reopen the street for our downtown businesses and regular operation.
All right, and I believe that the special event application is included in the packet for council's review. I'm confident that everyone already has. So with that, council would entertain, are there any questions or comments before I get into the voting? Council would entertain a motion to approve the fee waiver for the street and use of the facilities that have been stated.
If they'll pull up, if IT will pull it up, I'll pull it up there for you.
All right.
And if we could do two,
Okay.
and let's do this one first, and then come back and do the street closing application.
Okay.
IT, can y'all pull up Civic Plus, please?
All right, so this would be the use of the hub. Well, they've moved it all into one.
That doesn't have the street closure part.
Right.
That's just the app fee.
So
Oh,
this-
just the fee. Okay,
this is-
perfect. So
yeah.
use of the hub, the waiver of the hub, the fee for the hub, waiver of the fee for the street closing, and the city sponsorship in the already budgeted amount. We entertain a motion to that.
So move.
All right, motion's been made and properly seconded to approve those expenses. Please, is there any debate? Hearing none, please vote electronically if possible. And again, that is for the fee waiver for the hub, the fee waiver for the street closing app fee, and then the city sponsorship and the already budgeted amount.
Just waiting on Councilwoman Taylor's vote. Did you time out?
Said a little bit something different, but okay. I'm still.
All right. Good. All right. All votes having been cast, motion passes unanimously. And so now, Ms. Getz, if I heard you correctly, now you would like us to move to the actual street application, correct? Street closing application, right?
I'm pulling that up now for you.
All right. Now the street closure request would entertain a motion to approve the street closure request as presented. Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded by Councilwoman Taylor to approve the street closure request as presented. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we will please vote electronically if possible. Okay. All right, all votes having been cast, the motion is approved. KT, anything further?
I just want to formally, like I always do, invite every single member of the council, mayor pro tem, to come to the event, have a few words, of course, float around and meet with the citizens as well. Last year was really, really great. We had some really great partners who are partnering with us again this year, and it was really, really great. We have vendors from all walks of life, and I just want to invite the community formally, again, from 3 to 7 p.m. on June 20th, downtown Goldsboro at the Hub. And we are taking vendors, so if anyone in the community who wants to be a vendor, info@juneteenthgoldsboro.org is that email.
Can you say that one more time?
info@juneteenthgoldsboro.org.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, council, we will now move to item number 9.3. I will caution you, this one is a bit complex, it's a bit complicated. We're going to take our time with this, ask questions, understand what it is that we're talking about, and how it fits within both the individual developers' goals and objectives as well as the city's goals and objectives. But don't feel pressured to sit here and take your time with it. We're going to ask some questions. Mr. Livingston, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. This was just a really brief one on this before I introduce Kelly to kind of give the overall briefing. It is a project, a housing revenue bond request that we would endorse, but it doesn't pledge the full faith and credit of the city. We're not on the hook for any kind of financial obligations with this. It just endorses that, says that we have approved this project, and we say that we're not going to stand in its way of being developed. So Kelly, if you're up to it, can you kind of give us a little bit more detailed briefing on that? Since that was not very scientific on my part, I apologize.
And I brought the scientists. So, Council, I want to introduce Kristen Kirby with McGuire Woods. She represents the developer. She is the expert in this. We can answer any questions post her presentation, but I think she can give you all the reasons why this is something this developer is seeking this support for these pre-application bonds and your support for those. And then from there, if we have any questions specifically for staff, we can take it from there.
Sounds good. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Kristen Kirby. I'm a partner with the law firm of McGuire Woods. We serve as the city's bond counsel, and we would be acting as bond counsel in connection with this financing. So just wanted to clarify that I don't represent the developer. Rather, we'd be serving as bond counsel to the city and representing the city in connection with this financing. I believe the city is already somewhat familiar with this project, as the zoning for the site was already approved back in November, but this is a financing under which the developer would be acquiring the historic Borden Mill and converting it into 144 units of affordable housing. Those units would be set aside for individuals and families earning between 30 and 70% of area median income. The developer is looking to finance this project with, through the low-income housing tax credit program. To use the 4% low-income housing tax credits and to receive those tax credits, a portion of the project has to be financed with tax-exempt bonds. To use that type of bond financing, you need a governmental entity involved to issue the bonds. Unlike when the city is doing its own bond issuances for its own projects, in this case, the city is acting merely as a conduit issuer. So you are providing the means by which the developer is able to access this type of financing, but these bonds are in no way a debt of the city. So these bonds do not affect the city's credit ratings. They don't affect your legal debt limit or your debt ratios. They don't generally show up in your financial statements, except for there's a GASB requirement that you include a footnote about conduit debt, just acknowledging that you've done it. So as was stated, the city does not have any financial liability with respect to these bonds. The bonds are repaid from the payments made by the developer from the revenues of the project, and the bonds are typically secured by a deed of trust on the project. So in any sort of worst case scenario default, the lender and the bondholders can only look to the property and to the developer for recourse, not to the city. The developer is requesting a bond issuance in the amount of $13 million. The resolution that's before you tonight is a preliminary resolution, essentially indicating the city's willingness to be the issuer for the bonds if the project is approved for the bond allocation and the low-income housing tax credits by the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, which is a state agency that oversees the application process for this type of financing. This inducement resolution showing that there is a bond issuer on board to issue the bonds is required as part of the developer's application to the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, for the bonds and the tax credits. So that's why it's coming to you now, fairly early in the process. So this project would come back before the City Council at a later date, closer to the closing of the financing, for a public hearing on the project and for final approval of the terms of the bonds, approving the forms of the documents, authorizing city officers to sign the documents and such. So at this stage, the resolution is really just indicating the city's willingness to be involved and to serve as the bond issuer. That allows the developer to complete their application for the bonds and the tax credits, and then if they are awarded that the bonds and the tax credits, then again we'd come back once the closing process began and the project was ready to move forward to closing. I realize that's a lot of information very quickly, so I'll pause there if there's questions about this.
So the benefit to the city is that the thing happens. The
Correct.
benefit to the developer is they get access to a stream of capital that they otherwise would not have access to.
That's correct. By using tax-exempt bonds, of course, they're able to use the low-income housing tax credits, because if you finance a certain portion of the project with tax-exempt bonds, you automatically qualify to receive those tax credits, which are then sold to an investor, and the equity from the sale of those tax credits is used in to develop the project. Also, typically tax-exempt bonds have a lower interest rate than conventional debt, so that's an advantage, and they can't use the tax-exempt bonds or the tax credits without a governmental entity involved to issue the bonds.
I'm going to ask a question that you may not know the answer to, and that's okay, because it's not your problem, but I'm asking anyway because you're the expert. We've seen all the stories on WREL about what are being deemed tax loophole properties. It's not a loophole. It's the intent of the rule. The intent of the law is to get more, cough drop.
No, that's okay.
To get more housing on the ground, which is a wonderful, a noble goal. At the end of the day, will this project, to the best of your knowledge, be a property tax revenue generating property, or do we believe this one is probably going to fall outside of that into one of the tax advantage properties?
So I actually asked the developer that question today. My understanding is that they have not yet made a final determination if they will seek a property tax exemption, but they said that is unlikely at this point that they will do so. Unlikely that they would ask for a tax exemption. The way that tax exemption works, you have to have a nonprofit developer involved in the ownership structure, which currently I don't think is planned. In terms of overall property taxes, and this is not my expertise, property taxes, but property taxes for developments that have been awarded low-income housing tax credits those property taxes are calculated based on the income method, so taking into account the fact that the rents are lower and the rents are capped. So it is by statute taxed a little bit different regardless of whether there's a full exemption or not.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. So those are my two questions. A big one for me was, how does it impact the full faith and credit of the city of Goldsboro? I wanted to make sure that we were very clear on exactly what the burden to the taxpayer potentially could be. That has been answered, that it is not a burden to the taxpayer regardless of worst case scenario.
That's correct.
All right, those are my questions. Council, I'll yield to y'all for additional questions. Anyone?
Question.
Yes, sir.
So is this all low income, or is this what we consider workforce housing?
I would
I think
consider
it's more
this
workforce housing. But I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. So this is, I guess, low and moderate income. So it's the unit mix they're looking at would be individuals and families at 30 to 70% of area median income. So looking at average income for the census area that the city's in, folks that earn between 30 to 70% of that amount.
And so this
is considered low and moderate income, because low income by statute is sort of 60%. Workforce is usually 80 to 100 is how I see that. So it's.
I will note, and I wish that Ms. Wiggins was still here so we could put her in the spotlight just for a second here and get her opinions as well. But a piece that I continually hear, since we're in the deliberation part, a piece of our housing mix overall that I continually hear as lacking is folks that are trying to exit housing authority properties. The next step or the next rung on the ladder is too high. They can't quite reach it. And it has been explained to me, again, I don't have this in contract, but it has been explained to me that a piece that we are missing is this piece, that rung, so that then people can step up to the 80 to 100, ultimately to market rate. Again, that is pure conjecture, but for your consideration.
I mean, we have a lot of employees. If we look at our average salary, if it's around 40 something, or it's they qualify for these. So, and I don't consider those low income.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's a fair point. Yes, sir.
I don't remember on this particular development, how many of the total units were market rate versus the amount that were LMI? Not necessarily what the percentage of the LMI was, but how many were market rate?
I don't think there's any market rate units in this portion of the project. So it's 144 units. All of those are between 30 to 70% AMI.
And that's what I understood, and so I wanted to make sure I didn't mishear that. But so there are other projects that I'm aware of, like the one that we're just speaking of for Abbott Crossing that's in my district. I'm familiar with where there's market rate, then there's X amount of units at this percentage, and that so forth and on. So is there another advantage or another piece of what's the advantage for the builder or developer to do no market rate within a development?
So with this type of financing, to use tax-exempt bonds, you have to meet certain low-income set-asides. So it's a requirement that you have at least a certain portion at certain income levels to even qualify to do the tax-exempt bonds.
Right.
That have been, those rules are established by the federal government under the tax code for these bonds. So now that it's not a 100% requirement. You either have to have 40% of units at 60% or less AMI or 20% of units at 50% or less AMI. But also you only get the tax credits with respect to the units that are restricted by affordability. So by doing the whole thing at 30 to 70% AMI, which will average out across the units to about 60% AMI if you looked at it all, then they're able to get tax credits for all 144 units. If they had some market rate units, they wouldn't be able to get tax credits on that.
Got it. Last question. So will any of those units eventually become market rate at the end of a certain time period, like I'm familiar with other projects?
Sure. So it's possible once the tax credit compliance period is over that they could change how sell the property to somebody else to be something different. The bond rules require that the property remain affordable for the longer of 15 years or for whatever period the bonds are outstanding, if that's longer. Typically with the tax credits, we see that extended to 30 years. And it can go even longer if there's any sort of HUD financing, Section 8 financing, or anything like that has additional requirements that stay on longer. But at a minimum, it's going to be 15 years, most likely at least 30.
Okay. That was all my questions,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor.
Council, anybody else? All right. Then, Council, I believe the next action item would be the actual resolution that is in front of us. And again, this is a preliminary resolution. There would be additional conversation and opportunities to exert influence on this development. But is there a motion to adopt the resolution giving preliminary approval for the issuance of bonds?
So moved.
All right, motion's been made and seconded by Councilwoman Jones. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible.
Coming up.
It didn't pop up.
Would you just state your vote for the record?
Okay, yes.
Okay. There you go. All votes having been cast in the affirmative, motion passes. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, this is another one that I know the developer I have not personally spoken with the developer, but I know I've heard several different iterations of the project. And so at one point, I think they were hoping to go one direction and then gradually in a different direction. So,
while
yes, sir.
we're still talking about it, my only concern about this project is what you brought up, Chris, about how long will it stay LMI housing. You know what I'm saying? Because it defeats the purpose if after 15 years it goes back to fair market rate, and we haven't made any substantial changes, as far as economic development within the city.
And to that end, I agree, and we're on the same page with that. I also am encouraged, and I understand due to the size and the scope of this development and where it's at and what it was intended for, I'm completely in favor of it being all income adjusted. But some of the smaller projects that we've done, which is why I was asking that question, there's a certain percentage of those that are market rate. So if you have a development, and just to make up a number, and you got 50 units, and a certain amount of them are market rate, and a certain amount are a different percentage of that adjustment, you really do have a complete mix of your population in a single community, instead of it being looked at as one type or the other. So that's why I was asking those questions. I get why this one is what it is and where it's at, but on some of the others that I'm more familiar with that breakdown, I was just curious. That was why I asked those questions.
You guys, in my opinion, you guys are hitting on the two sides of this thing that you have to hammer on, because I do not want to be part of creating another massive poverty pocket. You know what I mean? Like I don't want any part of that. I don't think it serves the people that are there. I don't think it serves the city around it. I don't think it serves the city as a whole. And so, whatever we do, this project included, whatever we support, it has to be something that helps the people who are there. And I think having mixture of incomes, a mixture of uses works. And so I think there's still plenty more conversation that's going to have to happen, even on this one. But I think this is a good opportunity to get a fixture of this community, that mill, back into some use. And then also, I think now we're going to have the ability to steer it a little bit and have some good conversation.
Yeah, I agree with rehabilitating the Borton Mills. But like you said, Mr. Mayor, though, we are trying to move away from the model of just having one set.
Right.
And because we see that it doesn't work.
Yeah. I'm glad this council is proactive in its thinking on these things. Yes, ma'am. Oh.
I'm really hi, good afternoon. I really wish Kelly was here because he's more familiar with this project than I am. However, I did want to mention, just based on the concerns, that this is just phase one of the project. I think the other phases do intend to be workforce housing and commercial. So it's not going to be as income restricted as what the consultant just presented. It will have a greater mix ultimately when it's completed.
When it's built all the way out.
That's right. Yeah, this was just one phase.
One portion of the overall complex.
That's right.
It's a big piece of property.
It is a very big piece of property, and I wanted to temper those concerns.
Thank you.
There's also a mix of commercial there. It's a planned unit development too.
That could be wonderful. All right, council. I need a quick nature break. So I'll tell you what. How about we recess until, is 10 minutes too much? Is that all right for everybody? All right. Let's take 10 minutes. We'll reconvene at 10 after 7. brief recess there. And first things first, let's entertain a motion to welcome back Councilwoman Matthews back into voting status.
So moved.
All right, motion's been made and seconded by Pro Tem to welcome Ms. Matthews back. Councilwoman, any debate? Hearing none, would you like to do a vote electronically?
Hang on.
All right, hearing no debate, please vote electronically if possible.
The pocket park.
Yeah, it says a pocket mark.
Wait,
That's the pocket park.
It's on the pocket park item, but it's a motion.
yeah, we're pulling this one up first. So it should say motion Matthews. So,
It's
that
Councilwoman
way, they'll
Matthews
close
right
that
now.
one.
Because there's not a separate spot I can put that motion.
Okay.
Somewhere else.
All right.
Show of hands.
I'll
Back out.
fix it.
You'll fix it?
Mhm.
All right.
Let me just mark it and I'll delete the motion.
All right, perfect. Delete the motion and then
And
we'll,
I'll just
yeah,
write
you'll
it
be able
by
to have it
hand.
in video for the record. So
Yep.
all in favor of the motion to sort of readmit, for lack of a better term, please vote by show of hands. All in favor, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. All right. Excuse me. All right, Ms. Getz, we good?
Yes, sir.
All right. So with that, let's move to item 9.4. Mr. Livingston, and then you can pass it off to whomever.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 9.4 and 9.5 are both designating our parks to our newer, smaller pocket parks, and get them to introduce that business item and ask you to adopt that as a city park. And I've got Ms. Felicia and Aaron also here to kind of give you an update on that, and hopefully we'll be doing a ribbon cutting soon.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Welcome. You.
So as Matt said, we've got two park designation proposals for you, or resolutions, starting with 9.4, which is designating the James and Pine Black Business District Memorial Parklet. So I'm going to give the background and discussion really briefly, and then I'm going to turn it over to Felicia to speak to the maintenance piece of it. So for starters, the city has partnered with the Downtown Goldsboro Development Corporation to develop a memorial parklet at 401 South James Street to honor the history of the James and Pine Black Business District. In order for this property to be formally recognized and managed as a public park, it must be officially designated as such by the city of Goldsboro. Chapter 97 of the city's Code of Ordinances establishes rules and regulations governing all park properties, including definitions, permitted uses, operational hours, and enforcement provisions. Formal designation ensures the property is subject to these established standards and protections, and the city's Parks and Rec Department will maintain the park. Adopting the park designation for the James and Pine Black Business District Memorial Parklet will align the property with Chapter 97 of the city's Codes of Ordinance. This designation provides a regulatory framework that governs park usage, including but not limited to, as I said, hours of operation, protection of park property, and enforcement authority. And those hours, in case you are not aware, are 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. during the summer, and then 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. during the winter. So the park designation restricts things like firearms, overnight use, protects property, right, and allows the city to enforce any issues that occur. Additionally, designation ensures the Parks and Rec Department has clear authority to manage, maintain, and regulate the site consistent with other city park facilities. This action represents a procedural step necessary to incorporate the park into the city's official park system and to ensure consistent application of policies and public expectations. In addition to the adoption of the park designation, the attached resolution for the James and Pine Black Business District Memorial Parklet, I'm going to say that about 20 times tonight, authorizes the city manager to execute a contract with Playtime Installers, who is our landscape architect on the project, for the landscape and park design and the installation. So this initial phase of construction is scheduled to be completed in June, just in time for Juneteenth. Our goal is to do a ribbon cutting in conjunction with the Juneteenth event. And then I've already applied for some additional grant funding, so we're hoping that there's more to come. But I did include the contract in your packet. The contract is primarily between the DGDC and the contractor because the DGDC is funding the park construction. And then on the city side of things, Matt, hopefully you all are authorizing Matt to sign the contract stating that the construction can occur on this site. So I just want to show you all a couple of photos. On the left, you can see what the park looks like currently, except our sign is down at the moment. But we've done a little bit of work already. We've had some forestry mulching in there. You can see on the right, a lot of overgrown trees. So we removed a lot of the underbrush, cut it back, and then Landscape Design donated the landscaping materials and the staff time to plant some pretty rose bushes in the front that are in bloom right now, which is great. And this is a just rendering of what we are hoping to see with the park. A couple of changes to this because this is an AI rendering that our contractor supplied. The stone on the right will not be part of this phase of the project. However, the rest of the pavers and landscaping will be. The landscaping goes all the way up to the wall of the adjoining building that's there currently. And then the brick pavers, this initial phase includes the foundation of that. And hopefully the committee for the James and Pine Black Business District Memorial Parklet will put together a fundraiser to sell bricks and raise funds for some additional signage to dress up the area. There will be a 20 by 20 shade over there, as well as some picnic tables and benches to dress up the space. And then in the future, we are also hoping to add a mural. Currently, the property next door is not in the best shape. So I think it's imminently to be raised, which means that painting a mural on the side would not be the best investment. But we have some ideas in working with our contractor to put up some other materials for a temporary or a different wall that is not actually utilizing a building wall to have a mural in the future. But as I said, I've already applied for another grant, and hopefully that can fund some additions. And without further ado, Felicia can speak to you about maintenance.
Good evening, everyone. And so with this parklet becoming part of our Parks and Recreation parks that we maintain, I met with Erin on the site. She and my assistant Parks and Recreation director and our park superintendent, we discussed as far as what the plans were for the park and everything. And discussing it more with my park superintendent, the costs for us to maintain will be very nominal. Erin doesn't know this, but we were also talking about like adding a couple of trash can retainers as well, because when we look at cutting the grass in the park, we also take the trash out, and having trash cans there will encourage people to put trash in a trash can instead of on the ground. But with all that, taking that into account, it's not even going to cost us an additional $1,300 a year to maintain. And that's like staff time, materials, the time it takes there to cut, edge, all that. So it's, like I said, very, very nominal cost for us.
If you feel comfortable, with the maintenance, because again, these are kind of things that when they're done, they need to be done. They need to be done well because you're honoring, an entire history, and so it can't be left to look bad.
Right.
And so that was a big point of emphasis in our agenda setting meeting, was making sure that this wasn't another thing that all Parks and Rec will handle it. Well, eventually Parks and Rec runs out of steam.
Right.
And so we wanted to make sure that you had what you needed to be able to do this, because again, we're adding some nice amenities around town. Okay, perfect. Then the action item from us is the resolution as presented, correct?
Correct. And I did want to share, I passed around an amendment to the contract. Councilwoman Jones offered some great input to our contract, and I've added several elements from her input in the amendment that you have in front of you. It has been approved by the contractor and the DGDC. Once you all sign it, I'll take it to them to sign as well.
So will we do this in one motion adopting the resolution as presented, or will we do this in, well, actually I guess it would be, this resolution is to sign the amended version, right? Okay, perfect. Is council any discussion
I just got a quick question.
Sir.
Plan sounds well. I'm excited about what we're doing. I just want to know going forward. I understand we can cut the grass, but there's going to be a shelter out there, and there's going to be some other things that's going to need some type of maintenance going forward in the future. So I want to make sure that we are postured, because right now we're stretched thin when it comes to maintaining our parks, because we don't get any help and we're the only show in town. I want to make sure that we're postured to be able to take care of it properly going forward. While it's new, it's good, but it will eventually need some love. So I just want to make sure that we have the resources, or we're going to allocate the resources to maintain both parks, because there are going to be some type of structures out there that will need some type of maintaining, not just grass cutting.
I have.
Yes, ma'am.
I have spoken with different organizations, and they are willing to. I know that we're going to adopt a block, and we will put in what we would like to work with Parks and Recs to kind of bounce off and do our schedule and do some of those things. I spoke with them about 3 days ago, and they are very excited about partnering with you to help maintain that area. And now that we do have a strategic plan in place and a financial plan in place, we will be able to do more fundraising. And as far as the mural, we are thinking about having a little fun with the Art Council, which they don't know that yet, and getting them to come up with a design and see which design is used, which would be great because it would be coming from some of our artists right here, to come up with a design to fit that frame. And someone has already stepped up to do a wood pine frame to replace the white piping that we have. So I'm really, really excited. And with the strategic plan, we will be able to write sponsor letters. So that's what the committee is up to.
Perfect. And thank you for your work on that committee. It's really helping us move in the right direction.
Well, then council would entertain, if we haven't already,
I've got adopt a resolution for park designation and authorize the city manager to sign the contract.
all right, and would entertain a motion to that effect.
Yes, please.
All right, I would entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
All right, motion has been made. Who made it?
I did.
You did, and who seconded?
I did.
All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Motion has been made and properly seconded to adopt the resolution as presented. Is there any debate? Hearing none, please vote electronically, if possible. All right. All votes having been cast and voted in the affirmative, motion passes unanimously. All right. Good work. Well, don't go too far. Item 9.5, let's talk about the West Oak Pocket Park.
Yes, sir.
Matt, I'm skipping over you. Is that all right? Okay.
Do I progress the slides, Laura, or there we go. Okay. So I just have one slide on this. Kellyanne mentioned that we should have some photos, which was a great tip this morning or yesterday. West Oak Pocket Park, I won't read through the full background and discussion because it's similar language in terms of the designation of the park and why that matters. But I did want to share some progress photos with you. As a refresher, this was a partnership with the Housing Authority as part of their West Oak Choice Neighborhood Planning Grant. They had to complete, or we, because it was a partnership, had to complete an early action project. The goal was to show our excitement about the future of having a choice neighborhood in our community. And this was just kind of icing on the cake. If you have been out to GWTA, there was just a big chunk of green space, about 10,500 square feet, but it was underutilized space. So someone on the planning committee came up with the idea of putting in a pocket park in the space. So we were fortunate enough to partner with Bill Ellis of Playtime Installers, who is also doing the James and Pine Parklet, and he came up with all of these fun and creative, colorful ideas. It is essentially done with the exception of a covered shade It'll be a bright green shade sail out there. And then there is a rock and ropes course. You can see, I forgot I have a little pointer here. You can see the base of the rock and ropes course here, but there's actually a netting that goes across so kids can climb. I was actually just out there meeting with this team last week, and there were some kids out there playing, which is really nice to see. So hopefully we'll have a ribbon cutting for that soon. I anticipate the shade coming in about 2 weeks. So that's all the update that I have on that, and then I have the resolution to adopt it as a park. Felicia, do you want to speak to maintenance?
So for this pocket park here, we estimate it's going to take us a little bit longer to keep it maintained just because of the different dimensions of it. You have like the astroturf, you have the grass, you have the different play structures, and this would take a little bit more fine tuning by my staff as far as making sure we edge everything and cut the grass, because we are cutting around structures, whereas with the park at James and Pine, it's pretty much an open space. And that's why I say, not that they'll zip through it, but it's easier for them to cut. Say all that to say, the estimation of time as far as it will take us, to do it would be a little bit longer. And so that cost estimate is around $2,500 additional a year for us to maintain it. Still not a lot, but I wanted to explain why it was such a difference, and it has to do with the fabulous amenities that's there. You want to make sure that we take care of it, not just mow over it. So like I said, taking our time to make sure we cut it right.
I appreciate the attention to detail, because again, we want to make sure that we are, as has already been stated here, and was definitely stated in other conversations, we got to make sure that if we're doing something, we're budgeting for the long term, because when you have something, you have it in perpetuity, you got to plan in perpetuity for it. And so I appreciate you thinking intentionally about that, and we certainly will on our side as well. So, council, any comments or questions on this one? Of course, this is a result of the West Oak neighborhood and the Choice Neighborhoods plan. Obviously, there's a whole lot more to that, but this particular piece of it. So at this point, would entertain a resolution to designate this park, or the West Oak Pocket Park, as a component of the Goldsboro City Parks and Recreation asset list.
So moved.
All right, motion's been made. Is there a second? Motion's been made and properly seconded to designate the West Oak Pocket Park as a park within the city of Goldsboro. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. All right, all votes having been cast, the designation is done. Thank you all so much for your time and your work on this.
Thank you. I'll let you know when the ribbon cutting is.
I look forward to them. Look forward to both of them. All right, council, let's keep moving. We will go to these next three are going to sound very similar because they are. Mr. Livingston, I'll let you go ahead and guide us through 9, 6, 7, and 8.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 9.6 is accept initial bid and authorize finance to advertise for upset bids. This is for 609 Poplar Street. The current bidder is Grasshopper Acquisition and Design, LLC.
All right. Is there any additional brief, or does council have any additional questions on this one? It's in the packet. You've got the map and everything of where it is. All right, would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution as presented.
Wait.
Oh.
One second. Isn't this the one?
We have to do 2.
I don't think that's this one.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Isn't this the one you need 2 different motions on? Are we good now?
I'm recommending to approve it.
So you just need one now? Thank you. Apologize. Just want to make sure we were good.
All right, council, any comments or questions on the resolution on 609 Poplar Street? All right, hearing none, would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the upset bid for 609 Poplar Street. Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded to adopt the resolution as presented. Is there any debate? Hearing none, please vote electronically if possible. All votes having been tallied, motion passes, and the resolution is adopted. So now we'll move to 9-7. Mr. Livingston.
This is a similar situation here. It's an accept initial bid to authorize finance to advertise upset bids for 2618 Hill Drive Circle to Selena Dean. It's also in your agenda packet if you wanted to look at the more details of that one.
All right. Council, are there any comments or questions on this resolution? Hearing none, would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second? All right, motion's been made and properly seconded to adopt the resolution as presented for upset bids for 2618 Hill Drive Circle. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. All right, all votes having been cast and tallied, motion carries. Mr. Livingston, 9-8.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is another accept initial bid to authorize finance to advertise for upset bids for 2620 Hill Drive Circle, also to Selena Din. Offer of $8,500.
All right, council, again, very similar process. Everyone here is experienced with this upset bid process at this point. Are there any comments or questions on the resolution or on the piece of property? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All right, motion's been made and properly seconded to adopt the resolution authorizing finance to advertise upset bids for 2620 Hill Drive Circle. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Please vote electronically if possible. All right, all votes having been cast and tallied, motion passes. Council, last item for open session, prior to the comments and manager's report, last business item is item 9.9, and this one is another large piece of business for us to understand and digest. Feel free to ask questions on this one because it is a large piece of business that reflects a lot of things that have already been approved, but we want to make sure we understand how they're being executed. So, Mr. Livingston, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is a resolution authorizing the filing of an application for installment financing for several years, some 5, some 10 years, but it has to require local government commission approval, so we're on their schedule, on their consent agenda. It is a whole bunch of different items, rolling stock mostly. Low interest rate of 3.23 was the most favorable among the proposals as we went out to bid for it. We have Catherine here if you have any questions, but it's a $3.8 million fixed interest loan, again with times of 5 to 10 years depending on the piece of equipment. Generally rolling stock we don't finance for more than 5 years unless it's a larger equipment purchase like a vac truck or something like that. We finance for longer terms because their life, or fire trucks, their lifeline or lifetime is usually 15 to 20 years, sometimes more depending on how things go. But I don't know if Catherine, you wanted to add anything to that.
Council, for as again, this is in our packet. I'm sure everyone has already seen it. I would call your attention to the IFC summary memo, the 2026 IFC summary memo, and then as you look at, for example, the page 4 of the first component of that breaks down the year by year amount of funding that would be pulled out, and then when you get into the actual PowerPoint presentation slides there, the summary of financing proposals, you can slide down and you can actually see a breakdown of vehicle and equipment financing lists, and that is slide 3, also by Davenport. But a lot of equipment, all stuff that was already said that we wanted to do, but this is the actual financing vehicle to make it happen.
Equipment list that?
Right here, it's page 1060. If you look at it, you see some of it on here. And this is kind of the result of we're having to play a little bit of catch up here from the last several years. So every year goes by and able to borrow some money, we're able to recapitalize a lot of our equipment and rolling stock.
So when you say rolling stock, are we talking backhoes? Or are we talking cars?
We're talking mostly cars, that are on the road mostly, not things like your typical public works, things like larger dump trucks and things like that.
Yes, sir.
There's right many patrol cars that were much needed as well. I was just going to make a comment that I don't know if it was Davenport or Finance, whoever put that what's together in the packet did a very good job, and it was easy for me to dissect and digest exactly what was going on, and kudos to whoever put that together and what's in the packet. And as you pointed out, Mayor, this is things that we were in dire need of by the time we got into these seats, where things were just behind. So I'm excited to see us continue to move forward, and I'm sure our hardworking employees are as well, to see the much needed equipment they need to do their job and do it comfortably.
Well, and I'm not going to get on this soapbox right now, but council, without us making, and Matt and Catherine, without us making some very intentional decisions, we're not in a position to be able to even go out for financing. So where the work that we've done over the last, again, this is not intended to be a pat ourselves on the back kind of thing, but it's worth stating. 2 years ago, this financing simply would not have happened. So the fact that we're in this position now speaks to the intentionality of how we've gone step by step about things. All right. So with that, as to not belabor that point that I think has already been made multiple times, are there any remaining comments, questions on item 9.9, the resolution associated? All right. Hearing none, is there a motion to adopt the resolution as presented? All right. Motion's been made and properly seconded to adopt the resolution as presented. Is there any debate? Hearing none, please vote electronically if possible. You're good. You're good.
You're fine.
You just first. There, perfect. All right, all votes having been tallied, votes in the affirmative. Item 9. Resolution under item 9.9 is approved. All right. With that, that concludes the business items for open session in our meeting this evening. Mr. Livingston, if you would please deliver your report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple things, won't keep you very long. We're making a lot of really good progress on the budget. We should have something pretty much balanced to present to the Budget Committee in this week's upcoming Budget Committee meeting. So very thankful for that. There are some things that we'll have to discuss when we bring the whole budget session on the 24th that are in need of consideration. But all in all, we're doing a whole lot better than we have in past years as far as getting to the nuts and bolts of things, so to speak. So I'm looking forward to that, and that's about it, Mayor.
Perfect. Well, sir, we will move into our mayor and council member comments. It is our first meeting of the month. We'll consider the work session Friday after next to be the second meeting of the month. And as is tradition, we'll begin with the council member from District 1 to begin our comments. Councilwoman, floor is yours.
Yes. This month is Child Abuse Month. And I want us to realize, and most of us do on this council and in our community, that every child deserves good housing, education, food, and to feel safe at night. And so let us consider those things, and when we see something, say something. I know that we say that all the time, but please do. And it is also the Military Child Month, and military children go through a whole lot when their parents are deployed, and So let us, keep them in mind. I would like to thank the community, whoever's listening, D9 and all the organizations. As I ride through the city of Goldsboro, I see so many good things happening. I see so many organizations stepping up and helping the community and helping the children. And I just want to thank you. And I just want you to know that if I see it, other people see it. And I want to thank you so much for that. I also want to thank the police department for always being out there in District 1 where the daycares are, and especially on James and Pine, for always just riding through there and watching out for those children, because the children are our future. And I want to thank them. Also want to thank Jonathan for what he's getting ready to do for an area in my district. I'm really excited about that. It may seem minor to some people, but it means a lot to me, and I appreciate you for just listening. And also Chief West as well. Also, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. West Haven, I was out there today, and there was no internet because the Eastern Lighting Company is out there working on backup for electricity. And I'm really happy about that, because I do have some constituents out there that are on oxygen. And whenever we lose power, that's very detrimental to them. And I've had to call in, several times and then try to help, them get somewhere because they need their oxygen. So I was really glad to see them out there today. I was doing a wellness check on a young man, and I saw them out there, and I'm just very appreciative. So you may not have any internet. You might have it on by now because that was earlier today. But the West Haven community, you may not have internet because they're really working on something good for you. So I would like to thank them. And I think that's it. I'm really glad about having our strategic plan and being able to move forward. And we will be having more meetings. We have reconstructed the organization, and we're looking forward to moving forward. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman, floor is yours.
Well, due to the holidays, it's been a month since we've been together here for a council meeting. So, as always, there's lots of good things that are happening out in the community, and things that I've sort of involved in. We've had a groundbreaking for one of our economic development projects that happened. I think 330 jobs and about $180 million worth of investment. That groundbreaking is going to kick off for GE Prolec. We had a meeting of the 70 Corridor Commission a few weeks ago that was hosted by us in Wayne County at the Maxwell Center. Due to the strategic location of those meetings around the corridor, Wayne County or Goldsboro only is able to host one every 24 months. So it was nice to have the commission here in town and members from Raleigh to the coast, basically. The county and city discussions for sewer regionalization are ongoing and continuing and making progress. We should have probably something to report on here in the next 30 days or so as far as for next steps. So that's still pedaling along. I regret that I was out of town and unable to attend the ribbon cutting for community support in schools. I hope some of you guys were able to attend that. I regret I wasn't, but I know that's something that we're all passionate about here, and glad to see that project moving forward. I also like to mention to our citizens and residents, please continue to use the 311 system when you have things that you would like to bring to the attention of your city, whether it be services or a complaint or something that you've noticed that needs attention. Is if you see a pothole or something, use that 311 system. It's very effective. I know I spoke to it and spoke on it several times. It's very easy to find. If you you don't even have to search the city's website. You can just go to Google and type in Goldsboro NC 311. It'll be the very first thing that pops up in that search. And you can click on that link and report any concern that you have or request that you have of your city government, because we're here to serve you and to work for you. Congratulations and official welcome to our new director for the Housing Authority. I'm much looking forward to seeing things go in a positive direction there and some things start to happen that I'm sure that I can say everyone up sitting on this dais will agree that we want to see some things progress with our Housing Authority. Congratulations also to our new Chief Building Inspector, which I think is referred to now as the Building Code Manager.
Yes, sir.
So congratulations to him. And lastly, as always, a thank you to all of our hardworking city employees, all of our staff. This city could not run without you, and you are all valued and appreciated. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman, floor is yours.
Okay, so when Councilwoman Jones just said something, it kind of made me think. She said, if you see something, say something. This past Saturday, I went to the funeral of a longtime friend, a young man that I've known since he was 14. His mother and I are very good friends, and he was murdered. And his family had to bury him on Saturday. So it made me think about something that I saw in the paper, the Goldsboro Daily News, about Goldsboro Police Department's cold case unit. I read in the paper that it was established in 2025. A lot of the people that I saw commenting on that on Facebook, I don't even think they realized that it existed. Point being, I know a lot of people say they don't want to be a snitch, right? Well, I can kind of understand if your friend goes into Walmart and you see them stuff something in their pocket. You don't want to snitch on them. But when it comes down to murders, let's not call it snitching. Let's call it justice or solving crimes or just doing the right thing. You know, if you have Ring cameras, don't say, oh, my Ring camera was broke. You know, I mean, I have cameras at my house, and anytime somebody commits a crime on my corner, I'm like, here's my phone. Look at it. You can have it. I'll email it to you if I want to, if you want me to. You know, officers can attest to that. So I just really want to say, if you have anything that you know, sometimes people think like, oh, it's nothing. You know, it might not matter. But even the little things turn into big things. You know, it could be just that tip that our investigators need to solve a crime. So I just really want to get it out there to the public that we have families that are hurting, people that, you know, their soul is crushed. Their brothers and their sisters and their children have died, have been murdered, and no one knows what happened to them. You know, and a lot of times you can get over a lot of things, but it's hard to get over something if you just don't know. You know, you just don't know what happened. So in the Goldsboro Daily News, they did say that you can contact Investigator Chase and Investigator Gardner at 919-580-4242 and 919-580-4216 with the Goldsboro Police Department if you have any information. And don't think that the littlest thing, it could help. So I just want to put it out there to the community to please, if you have any information about any crime, and especially when people's families are losing their lives, please come forward.
Thank you. Bridget?
The first thing I want to do is start off by thanking our code enforcement department. I have been riding around in my district, in the 5th District, up and down the streets. And Mr. Lopez, you have been very instrumental in helping us to get some signage repaired, also helping us to get some properties looked at, and also some cars that were just parked on the side of the streets. And unlawfully. So I want to thank Mr. Lopez and his department. The second thing is I had the honor of representing the city Saturday at the 4th annual Be the One Suicide Prevention Ride with a couple hundred veterans. And so it was just so honorable to be in your presence. I will tell y'all I do not look good in a motorcycle helmet, but yes, I was able to put me on a motorcycle helmet. I did not ride the bike, but I was grateful to represent the city and represent all of you and that great group of men, the veterans and the women. Then lastly, I had on our list, I would just like for us to just continue to remember all of our military families, our base in prayer, and the families. And just thank you for your service. And also to our city employees. Chris, I love how you just acknowledge them every single week. You matter to us. We value you, and we love and appreciate each one of you.
Councilwoman, floor is yours.
No comment.
Councilman, floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To our citizens out in District 6, I'm aware of the speeding on Green Drive. I spoke with Chief West today. We gave the description of the cars, and we're on it and we're aware of it. So thank you for putting us in touch with that. To the Fire Station 5 and District 6, for both what they did at the Y with the life-saving procedures, that they helped that young man. If it wasn't for them, that young man wouldn't be here. And also on Easter, that they came to my residence as I was trying to show my expertise in the kitchen, and the stove wasn't cooperating, and I had a little electrical fire. So they came out and quick response, and they helped me out on Easter weekend. So I really appreciate them for the quick response. Once again, to the Lady Cougars for just not being excellent on the floor, but just also in the classroom. They are excellent students, so they're to be celebrated. Month of the Military Child celebration for those who are interested in Jacksonville on April 17th. Our secretary will be there. We're going to honor our winner-ups. They got nominated for Military Child of the Year in all of our armed forces. So we're going down there to celebrate them. Well, they're going down there on the 17th to celebrate them, and I echo the sentiments of Mayor Pro Tem. I pray for our men and women who are in harm's way. I pray that the mission gets done and everybody comes home safe.
Thank you, sir. I will, just for myself, one final time, huge congratulations to Lady Cougars basketball team. And again, we celebrate. We're proud of you for winning the game, but we're truly, truly proud and want to elevate you for winning the game of life. Being a scholar in the classroom and then a champion on the court. It's got to be both. It's got to be both, and we're so proud of you, and we want you to keep going and keep holding yourself to that standard, because you're raising the bar for those around you too, because they're going to emulate you. That's how it works. And so, job well done on that. Council, a couple of things, just some sort of housekeeping things. As you know, we're in budget season. Was it Friday after next? We've got a budget work session. We'll get together and talk through some things. The ordinances, and y'all, I know there's been emails about this, but I'm going to say it as well. Ms. Getz and crew have worked very hard to get us converted over from the previous repository of our ordinances over to what's called Municode. I'm a big fan of Municode platform even before I got into this chair. It's just easier to research. If you're curious about different ordinances, you're curious about the policies and how things fit within the city, now they're a lot more searchable. And so I know she's got more work ahead of her for getting other things that are not ordinance per se, but are policy or whatever else. And so we've still got more work to do, but it's already just far, far, far more user friendly. Which leads me into my next thing, which is let's get past budget, then we're going to get back on the work for updating ordinances. We've got traffic, animals, and noise outstanding that are already, underway. But I know that council members have also brought up the UDO. Have also brought up, other specific pieces. By making Municode by changing our access to Municode and just simply being a really good platform. It makes it so that council members and other members of the public can search for specific things, so then you can bring to us recommended or requested changes, not just simply say conceptually what it is you're looking for. And I know that will help move things along. When us as council members are saying what we want to change, it helps us be able to point to specific things. Along with that, a huge amount of work and amount of gratitude to the folks that have been working on the new city website. Not sure if that went live today or if it's going to.
I was just looking at. I just got a text from him.
Well,
but I'm looking at this and it's not the same one.
Okay, so they probably have. Well, you got to update the cache in your browser too. You got to wait for that to expire. So it may have actually gone live, and you're still just looking at a cache version of the page. Anyway, not to get into technicals on that. But new city website, if it's not live now, it will be in the next couple of days, which is really exciting. Again, getting feedback from the community, what you want to see focused on. Phenomenal job on that. And then one final thing for me, summer camps. As we are getting into this time of year, those of us with kids, we are already scrambling for where kids are going to go during summer months when we're still working and they're out of school and they want to have some fun. You don't just want to camp them in front of the TV with a Madden controller in their hand. And so Parks and Recreation, I know that they've got a huge plethora of things that they want to be able to do. We got to get that portion of the website ready so that folks can register for those things as well. But I know there's a lot of different groups that have been doing things. Police and fire are teaming up to do a camp for kids. It's a week-long thing. So be on the lookout for those things. Check out the city Facebook and Instagram pages in addition to the website. And look forward to seeing as many families as possible engaged with City of Goldsboro this summer. Let's keep those kiddos active, out of trouble, and maybe even learn something by mistake. You never know. All right, so with that, that concludes my comments. Mr. Lawrence, we do have a closed item.
We do.
Which subject line?
Potential litigation.
Potential litigation. All right, council would entertain a motion to go into closed session to discuss a matter related to potential litigation.
So moved.
All right. Motion has been made and properly seconded to go into closed session to discuss potential litigation. Is there any debate? Hearing none, we will call the vote. Ms. Getz, are you going to do this one?
Yes, sir.
All right. If
I'm gonna have to wait.
that's all right, all in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, council being back in open session and having worked through all items on our agenda, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, motion has been made by Pro Tem and seconded by Councilwoman Jones. There being no debate on motion to adjourn, we'll call the vote by a show of hands. All in favor, please show your hand. All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, motion passes. We stand adjourned.